Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Well, today we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the Russia-Ukrainian war. We have entered day 190 plus of the ongoing conflict, and we continue to monitor reports of this Ukrainian counteroffensive that appears to be taking place on the western bank of the Dnieper River. And today we're going to have a closer look at just what the Ukrainians are trying to do on the western bank of the Dnieper River in the area north and northeast of the port city of Kherson. So if we look at our map here and we look at the western bank of the Dnieper River, this is the area that the Russians continue to control. This is a very valuable piece of real estate for Russian forces. If the Russians were to be evicted from this area, it could be very, very challenging for Russian forces to regain a foothold on that western bank of the Dnieper River. So it is in Russia's best interest at this point to do everything in its capability to continue to hold both the port city of Kherson and its foothold on the western bank of the Dnieper River. So if we look at this area, you almost have to divide it in half. And you have the Inhulets River, hopefully I'm saying that correct, Inhulets River, that runs kind of in a northerly direction off the Dnieper River and kind of splits this area into to basically half. About 1/3 is to the south of the Inhulets River, while the remaining 2/3 of the territory controlled by the Russians is north of there. And it looks like the Ukrainians initially launched operations towards the port city of Kherson. They have not made very good progress in that direction, but where they have made penetrations along the Russian line of control is to the east or the north of the Inhulets River. And there's two penetration points where we're starting to see a salient form by Ukrainian forces. And right now it would appear that the Ukrainian forces intend to try and roll up Russian forces or to split Russian forces along this northeastern bank of the Inhulets River, try to roll up Russian forces, and then look to possibly make a move on Kherson. That looks like the Ukrainian plan at this point. You can see where they have made inroads here. They've crossed the Inhulets River, and they have moved a few kilometers, creating this salient in very, very open land against Russian forces. Now to the north, you kind of see the same thing. They're trying to run along the Dnieper River south, and quite possibly I would say they intend to try and meet up at some point, either to cut Russian forces in half here and then to roll up and maybe get these Russian forces to capitulate or somehow flee to the eastern bank of the Dnieper River at some point. But we don't think that is going to happen. We think it's quite possible that the Ukrainians may have made their furthest inroads in this offensive operation that they are going to make thus far. You got to understand that the Ukrainians are still facing the tactical air assets of the Russian forces. The Russians are able to bring to bear lots of attack helicopter gunships. We have seen repeated sorties of K-52s, Mi-28s, Mi-24s being directed against Ukrainian forces. And what I'll do real quick is, generally speaking, this is very, very open land. There's not a lot of trees in this area. It is predominantly open fields with interdispersed small towns and villages in this area. The only real major city is if you go over here to Kherson. But it looks like at this point the major offensive for Ukrainian forces is directed to the east of the Inhulets River, this area, and then again looking to drive Russian forces out of this area and then create kind of this pocket of Russian forces that would be here running west and south of the Inhulets River here, and then to the east would be the Dnieper River here, and then obviously you have Kherson and then the line of contact. But I don't believe things are going very well for Ukrainian forces at this moment. There is not a lot of information coming out of the Ukrainian side. We do hear there has been some incredibly intense fighting taking place. And both sides have taken casualties in this ongoing fight. But we also continue to hear the Russians are deploying this new formation, the Third Corps, which is being deployed within the area near Zaporizhia, and we could see a counter operation by Russian forces directed towards Zaporizhia and this area at some point. But it would appear that the Russians have things under relatively good control at this point. Yes, there has been some inroads by Ukrainian forces along this area and further to the northeast, and they continue to try and drive Russian forces back along the line of contact, kind of north and northwest of the Kherson footprint that they control on the western bank of the Dnieper River. But that is what it looks like right now in terms of what the Ukrainians are trying to do. The blue, obviously, is the Ukrainian points of attack. You can see them, obviously, very, very clear here on the map. And then the main effort appears to be in the northeast of the Western Bank area of control by Russian forces. And but they still appear to be trying to make efforts towards Kherson City, but the Russians have a very, very strong defensive perimeter set up around Kherson, and I don't believe at this point the Ukrainians are looking to try to force their way towards the city, then enter the city and get into street-to-street fighting with Russian forces in Kherson. I think what they're trying to do is push Russian forces out of here, where you eventually have this pocket, again, that runs from the Inhulets to the Dnieper to the Black Sea, and then the line of contact. So you would have Russian forces essentially bottled up in this area, and this would be something very, very difficult for Russian forces to maintain that area of hold. And in all probability, you'll see the Russians try and deploy additional forces to push Ukrainian forces back further away from the Dnieper River in this offensive activity that the Ukrainian forces are conducting in this area. But again, just very difficult to receive any sort of information that is reliable in terms of casualty figures or anything like that. We did hear the Russian reports in terms of what they believe they had destroyed in terms of Ukrainian equipment and manpower, and I talked about that 1,200 personnel killed in action, and close to 100 armored fighting vehicles and tanks destroyed in the continuing operation. And that's what is being reported on the Russian side in terms of what they have destroyed in terms of Ukrainian forces. But again, very, very difficult to confirm anything that is going on right now. But holding this area is going to be vital for Russian forces to maintain control of Kherson City and this western footprint of the Dnieper River that they continue to control and will want to continue to control. Otherwise, they would lose it and quite possibly become very, very difficult to regain control of this area. But we'll continue to watch what is happening in terms of the ongoing fighting that is taking place. And as we get new information, we will absolutely create more content for you to view and gain information about. But again, thanks for joining us. More to come very, very soon. And always, Have a good day.